Hi, guys, and welcome to Love, Light, Lala. I just want to go ahead and give a disclaimer that I do have a dog who really does like to get involved in everything. And I can't lock him in a room, otherwise, he'll bark and make a ton of noise. So if you do see him shimmering back in between the curtains or popping up every now and then, please don't mind him. His name is Zeus. But there is him as a possible distraction. And I also have a little bit of a nicotine thing that I'm getting over. So I have my mechanical mod that I might, puff on every now and then. It gives a nice smoky ambiance to the atmosphere. So maybe it'll work with me, to that extent. But I wanted to go ahead and start everything off with my first video. And this video is going to really just be me talking about my history and what it is that brought me to this present day, the experiences that I've had, and what it is that has actually brought me to this point. So, really, the best place to start off is going to be when I was in a Catholic school for about 11 years. I went from kindergarten until 10th grade, and we're talking uniforms every day, church every Sunday, every Friday, every religious holiday, your typical confession, first communion, first baptism, confirmation, you name it, I've been through it. So it's odd, really, for me to be sitting here in the place that I am because I'm really back in the same place, but I feel in a better place. And I'm going to let you know how I got there. And I really don't recommend this to anybody because my experience is my own. What's happened to me has happened to me because that's what needed to happen in order for me to be where I am. So, what I'm going to share with you are things that I've been through, that I made the choice to go and do, and to be a part of, because I'm that kind of hard-headed person who's got to go through pretty much everything and be told 3, maybe 5 times not to do so. And we'll do it anyway because I have to experience it for myself. I can't accept other people's experiences before I experience it myself. So, here it goes. So, when I was a sophomore in high school, I was in a Catholic school, and I had 2 friends who decided that they wanted to try out for an art school that was literally right across the street. So, I thought to myself, well, hey, I'm an artistic person. Why don't I try this out? Because I sure as heck am done being here. I want nothing to do with this. This is, this Catholicness is just being kind of shoved down my throat. It's been in my face the whole entire time I've pretty much been alive. And I'd like to experience something different. So I decided to go for the arts area of creative writing. And I got in on my first try, which was pretty awesome. They kind of said that that was something that never really happened. You kind of had to try a few times. But I did get in on my first try, so I was pretty happy about that. So my junior and senior year were spent at a art school in Jacksonville, Florida. And it was really one of the most eye-opening things I had ever experienced. Because here I am, this girl coming from a full Catholic background, never really experiencing anything, not only in public school, but just the differences that people have. And it was such an eye-opening thing for me. So, me being me, I did everything that I could, to fit in, to do what I needed to do, but I really just kind of stayed in the background the whole time because it was such a shock, like really a culture shock, that I couldn't really get my footing. So I kind of teeter-tottered on a lot of things. I really decided that church just wasn't my deal. my parents did have me go regardless because they were in a band. They played for this youth group that was for teens my age at that time. And they, wanted me to keep my Catholic upbringing and my spirituality and things like that. So, I went reluctantly, but I still went. And by the time I had graduated and when I turned 18, I said, if I can choose to go, I'm not going to go because it doesn't call to me. It's not my thing. I think that there's a higher power, but I don't believe in what it is that you believe. I don't think that the way in which you want us to follow God and Jesus and everything is right, and this being a Catholic church, nothing else other than that. And it didn't work for me at all. So what was the next best thing? Atheism. One full extreme to the other. So I definitely delved right into that. Now I will say that it wasn't really brought up to my attention until someone that I was seeing, and it kind of became like a following pattern. So there were a few relationships where there was a profound atheist on the other side of it, and they made their points, and their points seemed valid. So I said, why not? This makes more sense to me than this other stuff over here. So, I mean, of course, it makes sense that there's not a God. It makes sense that everything turns to dust and that we have no soul and that nothing means anything. Because teenage angst, 18, 19, 20, you know, Catholicism being rammed into my face every day and not really being able to fully understand what it is that life is. And please, parents, I know you're going to watch this, but nothing against you guys. It's how people are. We all have to experience our own experiences, and that's what this all of this is all about. It's all about your experience, my experience, their experience, and how we all bring it together. So I'm going through this time frame where conspiracy theories are really big in my mind. The government's out to get us. There's all these crazy things that are going on. And not to say that none of it's valid. I mean, everybody's trying to get a one up on somebody. So, I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand the mentality to it. Or at least I do now. Because when I was an atheist for almost about, I'd probably say about 6 or 7 years, like I did not believe in God. I did not believe in a higher power. I did not believe in spirituality. I didn't believe in anything that was higher than myself. I thought that it was just myself, the world around me, the people around me, and that was pretty much it. And during that point in my life, I was a pretty unhappy person. I mean, like, I was happy, but there was like this big old void inside of me. Now, I'm just going to let you know that this is not a God, Bible, whatever it is, because I've heard multiple times, fill that hole within yourself with Jesus Christ and everything else. That's not what this is about. If anything, it's a mixture of everything that you could possibly imagine and beyond that. But I'll get to that in a little bit. But I just want to let you know, don't go prejudging on me now. I've kind of put my toe in a lot of different types of waters, so it's just, just wait until the end and just let me know what you think in the comments. So, throughout this time frame, going through, nothing is real. There's no point to this life. There's just dust at the end of the trail. I'm going to die. My body's going to go in the ground, and that's it. And it was kind of a depressing way to look at life, honestly, because it's like, well, if that's all there is, then what's the point? And no one wants to think that there's no point to anything that they do. And that's why we all do what it is that we do. So I got out of a certain situation that I was in, And I started dabbling in different aspects of life, different music genres, different crowds, different people. And there was a time frame when I started to think to myself, well, what if there is something greater out there? Because there's so much coincidence that happens. And now, of course, I think coincidence is not a coincidence. It's just the universe speaking to you saying, yes, you're on the right path. Keep going at it. Same thing with deja vu. But I don't want to tangent on you guys. So I'm getting into these new groups. I'm getting into these new ways of thinking about things. And I'm starting to kind of come along in my own way. And in my mind, I have this thought of, well, what if I'm wrong? Like, if I'm wrong, does that mean I go to hell? Does hell even exist? Does heaven exist? Does purgatory exist? Does any of it actually exist? And back in February of 2011, February 11th, 2011, is when everything changed for me. And it was quite quite the experience, because that's really what kind of brought me to everything about who I am now. There have been, of course, little sprinkles here and there that have gathered everything together, but this one thing is what changed everything. And here we go. So I got invited to a music show, hippie jam fest, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, that's what it was introduced to me as, so I was like, alright, well, I've never been to something like that. I'm all about trying new things, so why not? And while there were different experiences that I had, and they all accumulated to this one pivotal moment. And within that one pivotal moment, there's a top floor to this club called Freebird, which is in Jacksonville Beach and Jacksonville, Florida. And I was on the very top row, or very top floor, should I say. There's a banister that runs all the way around. Of course, there would need to be, otherwise people would just fall over. It wouldn't be a good experience. Probably a lot of unfortunate happenstances, but anywho, so standing, leaning up against the balcony and looking down on the stage, lights everywhere. This is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this, and I take a sip of a beer and I'm looking down, and all of a sudden I have this like horrible tunnel vision. And to me, tunnel vision is, oh, I'm about to faint. It's happened before. Why not now? It's obvious. I mean, I've had a really good time, probably too much good of a time. And it just makes sense that the night would have something like this happen, because Lala knows how to do it. So I turned around I thought I turned around to find the person that I was with. And the next thing that I remember, I didn't actually remember until about 6 months after this happened. But when I did remember what happened, it was quite extraordinary. So I turn around to find the person that I was with, and the next thing is this darkness. But it wasn't dark. It was, do it with me for a moment, just close your eyes. Regardless of how much light is in the room, there's still darkness because your eyes are closed. But yet there's this beautiful glimmering glow behind it. And that's the first thing I remember, is this beautiful glimmering glow and the feeling of not having a body. I was the ultimate vastness of this darkness, but this beautiful darkness that had the most sweetest smell I've ever smelled in my life. I honestly can't even describe it. Like, I've tried to find it in the past, what now, 4 years, and it doesn't exist on this planet. I mean, it's like a mixture of every single beautiful flower you've ever smelled in your life, mixed with, your favorite cologne, your favorite perfume, and really, you still couldn't match it. But once you smell it, you never forget it. So that was the first thing that hit me, was not only this beautiful, darkened, shimmering glory that I felt no body weight, no human form, no nothing. It was just me and my ultimate self. And this just beautiful aroma in the background. It's probably the smell of angels. And then behind this scent is this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous instrumental, harpy, stringy, flowy sound that just flowed throughout everything. And here I am, just this vastness of the universe, enjoying this beautiful moment of glorious sound, amazing smell, no pain, ultimate peace, just happy as a clam. And I'm just being where I am, and I remember thinking to myself, well, where am I? Like, I feel present, but I have no idea where this presence is. And as I think this, I see this tiny little, like, I'm talking like minuscule little dot up at the very top right corner of my peripheral. And when I look up, if I had eyes at this point, if I were to look up at this light, the moment that I recognized it or that I saw it, it just went, I mean, and we're talking, it actually made that sound. It was like a tractor beam. It was like, Scotty, beam me up, kind of thing. And when this light hit me, now I understand why we can't take the body with us. And that's because if your body was touched by this light, I mean, it would disintegrate. It would be gone. It would be absolutely nowhere to be found. But when this light hit me, it was super blinding. Like, it took me a moment to be able to finally, like, fix my vision and look up into it. At this point, if I had a head and eyes and a body and whatnot. Because at this point, I'm just like this floating thing, floating entity, should I say. And when I finally asphyxiate my eyes up into the light, I had a hard time focusing, but I started seeing like this fuzziness coming out of it. Fuzziness, you say? Well, let me explain. So I focus and I focus and I focus and I realize that it's a figure. And I'm like, okay, figure. And when I focus harder and it starts getting close to me, I realize it's a hand. And this hand first has fingers, and the fingers come out to me, and it reaches up for me, and it says, take me. And I think to myself, there's no way this is real. And the moment that I said that, I heard a voice in my right ear say, I'm really sorry you feel that way. And the moment that the voice went away, the light right back up where it came from, and instead of the beautiful black and golden atmosphere I was in, the beautiful smells and the harps and everything like that, all of that was there, totally gone. All of it, completely gone. And the only thing left was darkness. And when I say darkness, I mean darkness that no one on this planet has ever witnessed. The most deathly, cold, black that I never, ever, ever, ever want to be a part of. It was scary. I was ultimately afraid for every single bit of being I had left. And as I'm sitting here or floating in this just depth of evil and despair, the bone chill just all over my body, and I felt pure evil swirling around me in this area, wherever it was that I was. And I could feel this presence of, I am going to destroy everything that you have come to know, love, and understand. And I felt it coming right for me, just right for me. And as it's swirling around me, oh, I get goosebumps when this part comes. Sorry, guys. When it comes swirling around me and it just comes to get me, I say to myself, deep within myself, I said, God, please don't let this be the last points in my existence. And I kid you not, the exact moment that thought happened, I felt the pressure of the Big Bang smack me right in the chest. And when I felt this smack, I mean, it hurt. It hurt real bad, but, you know, your heart probably starting would be painful in some regard. And when that happened, I went flying backwards. And all of a sudden, like, my body is back. Like, I feel the human presence of myself, and I'm flying backwards. And as I'm flying backwards, there's a reel, like a black and white reel of my whole life, from birth starting, just coming, and I'm sitting here going, or actually flying backwards going, oh my God, what is going on? And I look behind me, and the planet Earth, is right behind me. And I've got reels, all these reels coming out of my head, and I'm just flying backwards. Earth is behind me. Life is flashing from my eyes. And I'm like, oh, where am I? And in my left ear, I heard my mom. And in my mom's voice, my mother, she said to me, Lauren, you have to come back. And I said, Mom, I don't know where you are. And she said, Lauren, you have to come back. And I said, but Mom, I don't know where you are. She said, Lauren, you have to come back. And I said, Mom, I don't know where you are. How can I come back if I don't even know where you are? Where am I? And at this point, she's screaming at me. And I won't do that to you guys because I don't know if my computer can handle the scream. But it was pretty intense. It was like the blood-curdling scream of a mother losing her child. And as my mom just started screaming my name, Lauren, 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 I heard my dad going along with her. I heard my sister. And as I'm falling backwards, real flashing, life going right before my eyes, Earth right behind me, I've got my whole family, like, right in front of me in my ear, and I still couldn't figure it out. And then all of a sudden, every single one of you guys, every one of you, every person on this planet called my name. And the whole world was chanting for me to come back and to find my place. And the next thing I remember is thinking, I really hope my mom is not sitting next to me right now. And I shot right up off the floor. Right straight up off the floor. Couldn't understand any kind of human face. The human form to me was absolutely just alien. And I felt like I did not understand. Well, I didn't understand. I didn't understand a thing about anything that was going on around me. And I got up off the floor. I went to find the person I was with. I finally found him. And I walked up to him and I said, I'm pretty sure I just died. He was like, nah, you're okay. Don't worry about it, but we really got to go. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I just died. And he was like, well, we got to go. And I was like, okay, gotcha. I understand that, but pretty sure I just died. So that was my death experience. I died for about 15 minutes at Freebird in Jacksonville, Florida on February 11th, 2011. And that was what started my entire trek into being where I am now. Because if something greater than me doesn't exist, how in the world can something like that happen? I don't believe it can. And when I say something greater, I don't mean the biblical sense of just God. I mean, if that's what you think is the Almighty, then good. Let that be what you believe. Doesn't work for everybody. But if we're all in the same place and we're all trying to do the same good things, and we all just want everyone to treat others the way that they want to be treated, then what difference does it make if I call it light, or if they call it Yahweh, or if they call it Gaia, or if anybody calls it anything? If we're all in the same place, which we are, we're all on this little planet Earth, what difference does it make the name that we call it? We all should just love each other the way that we do. And thankfully, due to the experience that I put myself through, I am where I am. And I absolutely love where I am. And because of what I've experienced and because of what I've learned from it, there's a lot of different things that I've gone out and tried over the past couple of years. And that's what this blog is all about. And that's why I feel like this video is so important, because I want you to understand what I've been through, what I've put myself through personally to get where I am. And the different things that I've experienced since then. Because I feel like it's important, because not everybody knows that there's such a vast array of beautiful spiritual things out there that some people just don't feel comfortable talking about. But see, that's the thing with me, is I'm comfortable about talking about pretty much anything. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want you to know. I really do. I want you to understand, you don't have to understand, but just know that there are so many different things out there in this world that you don't have to try, but as long as you just know that it's there, I feel like that's the most important thing, because it's not fair to you to not know. And I want everyone to know, what it is that spirituality, metaphysics, chakra, astrology, which is what that chart is back there. I'm a huge astrology fan, so there is going to be a video on that, just so you know. Actually, everything I'm mentioning at the moment, there will be a video on. But meditation, chakra, astrology, stones, crystal healing, communication, language, the Council of Light, angelic and angel correspondence, the lightning path, the Mayan calendar, the Mayan zodiac. Pretty much anything that most people would consider a cult, or, whatever it is that you want to genreify it as, if you really have to put a title on it. To me, it's just experience. To me, it's opening myself up to different parts of life and different things that exist. Because it's not fair to me to just cut myself off from everything that this life has to offer. So I want to share with you everything that I have experienced. And don't go seeking death, I promise you. I mean, I can't guarantee that you'll have the same experience that I had. Please, I mean, I feel like I'm really lucky in that circumstance. I was given a second chance, and I finally understand what that second chance is for. And that's to share it with the world. Because that's the only thing I can do. Because there is something much greater out there than any of us could ever imagine. And once you open yourself up to it, and once you accept or surrender, as most people like to say, it really can make your life a different place. Heaven is within yourself. There is no other place to go except within. Once you're at heaven within, oh, it's a beautiful thing. So I want to thank you for sitting and listening to my story. I really look forward to the rest of my videos. I've got a lot of fun things to talk about, and I really do appreciate your time. I really do. I hope that you're able to get something out of anything that I've said or anything that I will talk about later down the road. Keep in touch. Comment, like, hit me up, whatever. If you have questions, please. I'll be more than happy to answer anything you guys have. So, I really do wish you all the best. I love you. This is Lala.